Nice to see you. My name's Mark, if you don't know me. My role at LGfL, if you don't know, is I'm Safeguarding and Cybersecurity Manager. So obviously they are my two roles. Often I'll be banging on about safeguarding. I'm going to bang on really briefly about cybersecurity. Hopefully you've picked up some of these. We did spread them around, but if I could ask that you take some home. If you haven't got them, they're lying around outside before you go home. So if you don't listen to anything I say, just make sure that you take these home. So hands are up again if you're really excited about all the cybersecurity things that are going on today. Right, keep your hand up if you're not lying. Because I know for lots of you, you'll think, oh, how boring, please. But there's some really important things that you do need to know about, even if it's only to know what you need to ask someone to have a look into and come and talk to you about. So there's lots of sessions that are going to be really important on that. But the reason why we printed out some of these for you is to try and help you understand a little bit more about what's going on in the country. You will hopefully have seen all the stuff that's going on in the news. Lots happening, really coming up the agenda in schools, but you don't need to panic about it, but you might need to do something about it, okay? So I'm just going to give you a couple of slides until I get dragged away kicking and screaming, which I think might happen sooner than I want to. Hopefully you've seen, even though not good news and we don't want to see it, but there really is the time to be taking cybersecurity seriously in schools, and that does not mean asking your technician, your technical team to take it seriously, because they probably already are, but we really need to get involved at a kind of strategic level. But it's not just as simple as saying, oh, LGfL will sort you out, they've got loads of great tools and services that will help you, which is true, but you know, the human side of things means that there will always be risk. Lots of you will have seen this kind of thing coming through. Probably you've seen this kind of text that gets sent through to your phone. I was slightly surprised when I was received with "Hi Mum." I managed to work out pretty quickly that it wasn't actually for me, but it's really easy to click on something that you shouldn't. So it's really important that we take this seriously as well. With Dan standing up in a minute to talk about ChatGPT, I had a quick look at it and said, you probably can't read that, can you? And asked ChatGPT, how can I keep my school secure? And actually, there's some quite interesting things on there, but I'm going to skip through because I'm being shown a sign. Anyway, so we've got the two reports. The key thing that's the difference between them is, one is the report that we've done jointly with NCSC, the National Cybersecurity Centre. If you've not heard of them, they're part of GCHQ, and we're really proud to be working with them, as long as DFE and all sorts of other big partners on the national stage to look into this. We carried out the audit last year, and hopefully you all took part in it, but we had schools from all over the country, all over the UK, not just England, taking part in this as well. But the purple report is a second report that we've done with our partners. It's got a lot more analysis, next steps, and things like that in it as well. So do please have a look. But really quickly, we've got some measures here which schools have or should have in place. I'll read out a couple in case you can't see, but we've got mobile device management, two-factor authentication, blocking USB drives, IT cyber security policy, preventing people from installing apps, approved app stores, backups, patching, antivirus firewalls. And we asked in 2019, and we've asked again, which schools have got these in place. Put your hand up if you think you've got all of those in place. And I'm particularly intrigued by the people who are not the techie people, if you actually know about this. Okay, so that's something you might want to have a think about. I was going to ask you which you thought might have gone down, but we haven't really got time, so I'm going to show you one of them, which is a bit worrying, and so I'm going to ask every single one of you before you leave today if this could be you, but this has actually gone down slightly, which is slightly troubling, because as well as all the tools and the services that you can get, for example, from us, what's really important for you to take it seriously, to understand it and have a strategic approach to it, is to have a few documents in place. Your cybersecurity policy, your risk register, and I can't remember the other one, business continuity plan, or whatever you might call it. Those are the three that NCSC said are really important. It's no good having one but not the other. It's no good having amazing services but not knowing what to do if things go wrong. So that's something where the Elevate Toolkit can help you with it. I think I have a little picture. I can't really see behind the speaker. But these are some of the things that in Gareth Jelly's session later, one of the cybersecurity ones about what LGfL offers, you can find out a bit more about what's happening there. You can see also in the report, again, about things that schools have experienced in terms of cyber attack. And the one key thing, again, I haven't got time to ask for a bit of audience interaction, so you're lucky on that one. But the one thing that is going up is threats that come from email. So whether that's phishing or spoofing and so on. If you've got no idea what that is, have a quick look at the booklet. So again, it's about the combination of tools, services, training, culture, policy. If you've only got one or the other, then that's where things can fall down. So just bear that in mind as we have a look through some of that as well. One thing that's really gone up, don't worry, I'm about to stop-ish, is cybersecurity training. This is not something that is just for the technicians. So those of you that are lucky and you've come a few people from your school and you're sending off one of your tech people to some of the more techie things, you're going to some of the others, great. But it's really key that other people, non-technical people, have training on this. Obviously, it's not going to be the super techie things that they'll be going into, but in terms of the general policy, really key that that happens. And yes, it's gone up over the last few years, and we do offer a course. Again, my colleague Gareth does this one. We've adapted the NCSC training, which came out of that first audit a few years ago, but it's really key that we're offering this to all staff. So please just have a think about that. If you're going away from today with notes, make yourself some things to do, some questions. Do we do anything along these lines? Our tool, for example, Sophos Fish Threat, is another way that you can help with all staff training on that as well. This is a question that we were asking, so maybe ask yourself as well. When was the last time that school leaders or governors got a report on cybersecurity? Hand up if never. Go on. Okay, there's a few people whose hands don't want to go up, but I know there's more than that. Again, we have put together, I say we, Gareth has put together a template report for governors to really help, because you might not know what to say, what kind of language to put it into. If you're interested in testing that out, because it's just finished, drop us an email at cybersecurity@lgfl.net and say, I'd like to test your reporting template. It's as simple as that. Let us know what you think. And of course, the NCSC have done some questions for governors as well to try and help structure that conversation about something they might not know or feel too comfortable about as well. I'd just say, how do you feel as a school? Do you feel prepared for facing an attack? Not many people would say, yeah, bring it on, would they? But it is an important question to ask and think about, okay, what can we do to increase our preparedness in case the worst occurs? You can't just say, LGfL have got amazing services, we'll be fine. Of course we have, and we're going to keep you more secure than any others, and of course make it possible for you to use services that cost much more than you could afford, because we're bundling them with our economies of scale. But just bear that in mind as well. Anyway, I think I need to go, but have a look through the reports. There are lots of key things you can see in the little standout boxes. So if you want to have a quick flick through of the quotes from our partners, things you might want to do, next steps and the like. Bear in mind, of course, the DFE standards have come out about cybersecurity, and for nearly all of them, we've got an answer. Again, go to my colleague Gareth's session, make sure someone's going along to find out about all of these tools that are all bundled for you as an LGfL school. If you're not an LGfL school, speak to someone in one of the red shirts and see how that might change. And otherwise, oh, the robot's talking to me. The robot wants me to leave as well. As I get dragged away, not many of you put your hands up for being part of Safe Skills. There is a slot on that at 11 o'clock that you might want to have a look at. And loads of the things that John spoke about, I'd like to talk to you about as well. So make sure you don't go home without finding out any of the things that John has mentioned. And now I'll tell a little story just to give Dave kittens. No, I'm going now. Thank you.